Good morning, America. Welcome to day 28 of the government shutdown. A little fun fact, 7 more days, we will set a new record for the longest the government has been shut down. Last time it was 35 days. Guess who your president was then? It should be no surprise. It's crazy how they can just take away social services, yet keep paying themselves while collecting taxes from American citizens. And at this point, what the fuck are we even paying taxes for? What do our taxes pay for? Because they sure as fuck don't pay for social services. They sure as fuck don't provide safety nets for the most vulnerable Americans. For some fucked up reason, all of the wealth that is being produced is funneling upwards into the pockets of the ultra wealthy. Ever since the pandemic, people don't really realize that the rich have been getting richer at an unprecedented pace. Middle class America doesn't exist anymore. There's only poor and rich, and that gap in between is growing bigger and bigger every fucking day. I wish Americans would really understand that capitalism is a self-destructive system. It's a black hole. There is no work hard to have nice things, because capitalism requires that you work 80 fucking hours for less than the bare minimum. You will never own a fucking home. You will never own a fucking car, because capitalism requires that banks own the homes and you pay them. Dealerships own the cars and you subscribe for the features on that car. I think it's so fucked how they just keep finding new ways to charge us more fucking money and give us less in return. I think it's so fucked that there are millions of Americans who are going to be starving this holiday season while we scroll through social media, and we're going to see a bunch of wealthy people showing off their fucking Thanksgiving spreads, their Halloween fucking parties, their Halloween costumes, their Christmas trees with all the presents underneath, and their Christmas dinners. Comparison truly is the thief of joy. Imagine being homeless and you're scrolling through social media. You see these perfect fucking families with fucking happy husband, happy wife, happy fucking kids, and their kids have everything, and they have a nice big house, and everybody gets to do whatever the fuck they want. Everybody's cared for, everybody's provided for, everybody's safe, everybody's loved. And then I have to remind myself, I don't get to see my kid on fucking Thanksgiving. I don't get to see my kid on Christmas. I don't get to go out trick-or-treating with my kid or nothing. I think it's so weird how America has this culture that's split between so many different people. You got whites on one side of the town and all the poor blacks and browns on the other. You got a house full of people and adults are off in one room having a wonderful time, kids are off in another. We've got ultra wealthy living in private communities with private security, private chefs, private assistants, private trainers, completely insulated from the outside world. Earlier this year, I was working at Zoo Fest, setting it up, helping to, and I wandered into a room that was for VIPs only. I started recording, and, the lady that was running the show, she's like, no, you can't record in here. And it just kind of made me feel some kind of way. That these ultra wealthy have a whole set of dedicated, loyal servants to them. That so many Americans are completely blinded by celebrity status and wealth, that things like wealth and celebrity status become even more important than your character traits. I came across a video a few days ago on here, and it was about this woman was saying that, I kind of admire Donald Trump because he's just a total piece of shit, and people still support him. Basically, that you could be an awful fucking human being and still have people who look up to you, admire you, celebrate you, worship you. I think it's so frustrating to hear Americans talk about morals and family values and Christian values, and you guys can't even hold people accountable. You can't even say that pedophilia is bad. You can't even say that starving Palestinian children is bad. Because it seems like every time these ultra wealthy people do some fucked up shit, there's some Christian that's trying to rationalize why they did that fucked up shit. There's some white person who's trying to rationalize why they did that fucked up shit, or why it was okay for them to do that fucked up shit in the first place. And you can't just say simply, it's bad. It's fucking bad. Everything that's happening shouldn't be happening. Well, they're just traditional family values, and we're a Christian nation, and we're a little bit more moral than those Arabs. The American government is protecting rich pedophiles. Turns out this shit goes way deep and involves some of the most well-known celebrities, politicians, businessmen. They moved Ghislaine Maxwell to a chiller prison. I think Americans are all fucked up, and a lot of you out there genuinely need to do some soul searching and ask yourself, is this what I support? Because I think a lot of people are just drunk on power. Because that's how it sure feels. American politicians, they're drunk on power. American Republicans or conservatives, these people are drunk on power. The fact that so many Americans out there, because it's at least 50% of you fucking sick bastards, you get off on seeing other people suffer. You get off on seeing other people in pain. And a lot of these people are trying to normalize sadism in America. They really want you to work 16 hours just so that they can deny you food, water, shelter, health. And they laugh about it. All of these politicians and these CEOs that shake hands in these backdoor fucking places, they say, we're gonna starve Palestinian children. They laugh about that shit. When people are asking them, why are you starving Palestinian children? They laugh about that shit. They laugh about taking food stamps away. They laugh about millions of Americans struggling to feed themselves and their families. They laugh at that. They celebrate it. They cheer for it. They celebrate their success at a later point in time, and they give somebody a fucking medal. They give somebody a honorable position. They give them a little cornerstone on a building. They give a street name after them. Kind of like how here in America, there's a lot of stuff that's named after Christopher Columbus. You have Columbus Streets, you have Columbia Schools, you have fucking District of Columbus, British Columbia, Columbus Day, a whole fucking federal holiday named after some guy that fucking hurt people. They celebrate that shit. They say, we took your land, we destroyed 80% of the indigenous population. They're proud of the fact that they raped girls, they raped women, they raped men. They are proud of that fact. A lot of Americans have absolutely no shame about American history. They say, just get over it like it was yesterday. America, all of the Americas really, including Canada, Mexico, and South America, we have 400 years of generational trauma to unpack. And until we unpack that shit, I don't think anything will ever get better. And as long as we continue to live in this culture that seems to be Eurocentric, we're never going to move forward as a society, especially when we can't, appreciate the contributions here in America that other cultures have brought us. If Italians didn't come to America, you assholes would not have pizza. If Chinese didn't come to America, you wouldn't have Chinese food. If slaves weren't brought over here on ships, you guys wouldn't have that delicious barbecue, that soul food. If Germans didn't come over, you guys wouldn't have all those delicious hamburgers and sausages you're so keen on eating. You wouldn't have fucking pretzels. If Latinos didn't come to America, we wouldn't have all these delicious nachos, tacos, burritos, gorditos. I think it's kind of wild how American food is so diverse, but yet American culture is really just all about being white. It's kind of the reason why we see so many black women who wear wigs, because this is a part of that generational trauma that's carried on from colonization, where the hair of a black woman was seen as messy, just messed up, yada yada. So that's why you see so many of these black women wear wigs with perfectly straight hair, because they never learned how to appreciate their textured hair. It's just been a lifetime of, oh, your hair is ugly, your hair is messy, you need to fix that shit. So they just cut it short and put on a nice little wig. And they probably hear, oh wow, your hair, it's so beautiful, where'd you get that? That's a fucking sad reality to me. It's kind of the same reason why we see so many black men with short hairstyles and they're did up in all these fancy ways, because people of color weren't allowed to have long hair. Indians who were sent to reform schools were forced to shave their heads off. And those standards still apply in 2025. You're not really allowed to have long hair, and if you do, people are like, well, you got to cut that hair if you want to get a job. You got to cut that hair and be presentable. That's all shit left over from colonization, people. White collar, blue collar, these are just another reinforcement of those standards. One is seen as more professional, put together, a cleaner look. The other one is seen as a little more rugged.